Hi, my name's Johnny and this is The Part-Time Investor. So, is the stock market going to crash? I don't know, but let's talk about it. So it's really been a week of two halves. At the start of this week, when I had a look at my current stock portfolio and saw that I was 16% up, and I've only started my stock portfolio in mid-April, I thought I'm going to do a video on what is going on in the stock market because that just seems crazy to me. To put it into a bit of context, if we look at America's most watched stock market index, which is the S&P 500, that was up 39% from March lows as of Monday. And that put it within about 4% of reaching its all-time highs. That's the quickest rebound from a market fall ever seen and puts it 11% higher than it was this time last year. And that just seems crazy to me because what's changed? We're still in the grips of the coronavirus outbreak. We don't know when we're going to get a vaccine. Lots of places are still locked down. Even though they're opening up, we don't know whether there's going to be a second wave. How can we be near at all-time highs at this time? And it's not just the American markets that have seen huge rises. The FTSE 100 was up 27% in 11 weeks. And stocks such as EasyJet up 60% in 1 month. And that's what I thought I was going to talk about this week. How I made nearly £300 in less than 2 months on the stock market. How I didn't really think that could last. And well, I was right. And since the highs of Monday the 8th of June, there has been a bit of a correction with the S&P 500 falling nearly 5% this week, which is the biggest loss since March. And the FTSE 100 contracting more than that as well. So I wanted to talk about why the stock market might have bounced back so much so quickly. So even with that market contraction, why is the stock market still so high? So looking at the S&P 500, it's almost a tale of two markets. By telling everyone to stay indoors and away from other people and almost change our lives completely, it's not surprising companies that work in the digital sphere have done pretty well. On the other hand, you've got businesses where people need to get together, such as restaurants, hotels, airlines. They haven't done so well. As I spoke about previously in my video on ETFs, the S&P 500 is made up largely of technology companies, about 26%. If you add in healthcare and communication companies, which again, unsurprisingly, are going to do better than most other companies throughout this coronavirus outbreak, they make up almost 50% of the S&P 500, and so it's not surprising that it's bounced back quite quickly. That's not to say those companies aren't going to be impacted by the coronavirus, but it's going to be much less than the other companies I spoke about. And as all stock markets look at the future and not really what's currently happening now, people are expecting these technology companies will bounce back very quickly. So although it doesn't necessarily make sense that markets should be up now, when you have news like the UK's economy shrunk by 20% in April, which is the largest on record, 3 times higher than the whole of the economic downturn in 2008-2009. Stock market's already priced that in, and as the UK and world economy start to open up again, assuming there isn't another large coronavirus outbreak that locks everyone back down again, it makes some sense that the stock market is already pricing that in. So should you be worried about your money in the stock market? A lot of big time investors and hedge fund managers are saying the market is overly optimistic at the moment. A lot of them are keeping their money at the sidelines. The likes of Warren Buffett would have done better sticking to some of his own advice about buying and holding long term. As less than a month after he sold all of his airline stocks, they've increased in value massively. That's not to say they won't go back down, but currently it was looking like $1 billion mistake. That just goes to show no one has a crystal ball, and although you can make educated guesses, no one knows what is going to happen. If there's another serious coronavirus outbreak or we can't develop a vaccine, it's highly likely the stock market will go back down. However, if current measures work to stop the spread of the coronavirus and we develop a vaccine very quickly, it's highly likely that the stock market is going to bounce back very, very quickly. Governments across the world are doing a lot to make sure that their economies don't sink during this period. You hear a lot about in America with the Federal Reserve printing lots of money, which is also happening in Europe and in the UK. Some of that money will work its way into the stock market to keep it propped up, hopefully for long enough for businesses to get back on their feet. Well, I think it makes sense to think about what companies may do better than others in this new world. Personally, I'm just going to keep steadily investing into the stock market, into my ETFs and stocks for the foreseeable future. If stocks rise, that's great, I've made a profit, but if they sink, it just means I can buy more for less. As my stock investment horizon is about 5 to 10 years currently, I'm not too bothered about what's happening this year as long as the companies I invest in are going to do well in the long term. That being said, even with the stock market contraction at the end of this week, I'm still over 8% up. And that's about what I was expecting to get for the whole year, excluding dividends. So I'm still quite happy. So although I didn't answer the question, is the stock market going to crash? I guess my thoughts on it are, it doesn't really matter to me as long as in the long term we see growth. As always, and as the name of my channel suggests, I'm a beginner in all this. Do not take my word for anything. Please go out and do your own research. Maybe, if anything, just use this as a springboard to go and find out information for yourself. I hope you enjoyed that video and weren't too annoyed by the very clickbaity title. I thought I'd mess around and see whether it makes any difference at all. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe. I'm new to all this, so it helps me a lot. Leave me any comments. I'd be interested to know your thoughts on the current stock market, what you're investing in, if you're not investing, if you're waiting for something to happen. If you're waiting for the stock market to fall again, I'd be really interested to know. And if you have decided to start investing in the stock market and want to use the platform that I use, which is Trading 212, I can say so far I found it pretty good. Then you can use the link in the description below, and if you invest £1, you can get a free stock up to the value of £100. And if you do that, I also get that same free stock, so it helps me out too. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. That's me. See you later.